Today's video is on the top 5 most deadly creatures.
Number 5. Brazilian Wandering Spider. Brazilian wandering spiders, also known as armed spiders, are two species of venomous spider that are found across tropical South America. They can grow to have a leg span of up to 6 inches across, are hairy, and are mostly brown in color. Unlike most other spiders, these species don't build webs, but actively hunt prey as they wander across the forest floor. They hunt at night and target insects, other spiders, amphibians, reptiles, and mice. To do this, they have a powerfully toxic bite that are often said to be the deadliest of all spiders. Their venom contains a neurotoxin that causes victims to lose muscle control, which results in paralysis and asphyxiation. In sufficient doses, it's deadly to humans, but luckily, the spiders rarely deliver enough toxin to cause such effects. It's estimated that only 2.3% of bites result in the need for antivenom. But despite this, there are various instances where deaths have occurred, particularly among children. Number 4. Deathstalker Scorpion. Deathstalker scorpions are found across the desert regions from North Africa to the Middle East and are one of the deadliest species of scorpion in the world. They grow to 3 inches long at most and can snap their tails at speeds of more than 3 miles per hour. Their venom is particularly potent and is a mixture of 6 different types of neurotoxin. A sting to a healthy adult is usually extremely painful, but not deadly. But young children and the elderly are at risk of further complications. A sting can trigger anaphylactic shock, which itself can be deadly, but usually those who die after being envenomed suffer from pulmonary edema. This powerful blend of neurotoxins, while deadly, is also of particular interest to medical researchers. The venom has shown potential for aiding treatment of brain tumors and could also be helpful in the treatment of diabetes. Number 3. Golden Poison Frog. Golden poison frogs seem like such beautiful creatures, but behind their vivid colors lies a deadly toxin. Growing up to 2.5 inches long, they can be yellow, green, or orange in color, and each one can have enough poison to kill 10 grown adults or 2 elephants. It's for this reason that tribes in Colombian rainforests have collected them for centuries and used their poison on the tips of their darts that they use to hunt, which is where they get their other name, poison dart frogs. The interesting thing about this species, which is seen as the most poisonous vertebrae in the world, is that they don't actually produce the poison themselves. Rather, it's collected by something in their diet, probably a small type of beetle which is known in other regions to produce the toxin. This means that those born into captivity are safe to handle, and those that are captured will eventually lose their toxicity without access to their usual food source. The toxin itself coats the frog's skin and is an alkaloid batrachotoxin. This prevents the nerves of a victim from transmitting impulses, which prevents the muscles from working and leads to heart failure. It's purely a defense mechanism though, and most other species have learned to leave them alone, as the only animals that are immune to this type of toxin are the frogs themselves, and a few species of bird that live on the other side of the world, in Papua New Guinea. Number 2. Golden Lancehead Viper. Golden Lancehead vipers are only found in one place on Earth, known as Snake Island. And it's a good job because this is the most deadly species of snake on the planet. The 110-acre island is about 40 miles off the coast of the state of Sao Paulo, and it's because of this location that they've become so dangerous. They're related to the other pit viper species of Brazil, but their isolation on the island has meant that they evolved independently, and because of the birds that they rely on for prey, they had to develop a quick-acting toxin. Golden lanceheads typically grow up to 46 inches long and are a yellowish-brown color. They have triangular blotches on their skin, and their elongated heads come to a point at the nose. There are believed to be many thousands of the snakes on the island where they hide in the leaf litter, rocky crevices, and in the trees. It's a place that's visited by various species of migratory birds, so the snakes have to take the opportunity to quickly snare one to ensure they have a decent meal. They do this with extremely potent venom that's as much as 5 times stronger than their relatives from the mainland. It's both hemotoxic and neurotoxic, which means not only does it eat away at the flesh and tissue around the bite to help them digest their prey, but it also interferes with the prey's ability to move, so it's easier to get a hold of. Because of the danger they present, the island is strictly off-limits for everyone and is guarded by the Brazilian Navy. This means that, in recent times, there have been no records of bites on humans, so the potency of the venom is not fully known. Other lanceheads, though, are responsible for more deaths in the Americas than any other snake species, and kill in 7% of instances where treatment isn't administered, and 3% of cases even when it is. Even if you don't die, the effects of being bitten can include swelling, extreme pain, nausea, vomiting, blood blisters, intestinal bleeding, kidney failure, and severe necrosis of the tissue around the bite. Number 1. Box jellyfish. Box jellyfish is a term that covers more than 50 species of jelly, and collectively, they are thought to be responsible for at least 100 deaths a year. Although the number could be far higher because of the lack of records that are kept in many countries where they are present. They live mainly in the waters around Australia and the Indo-Pacific, can grow up to 10 feet long, and weigh as much as 4.4 pounds. They are mainly transparent with a slight pale blue hue, which means they're virtually invisible in the ocean. Each one can have up to 15 tentacles, each of which is covered in cnidocysts. These are described as the most explosive envenomation processes known in nature and are triggered not by touch, but by chemicals on the outer layer of any creature that gets close. The dart pierces the skin, and then the toxin shoots through it into the bloodstream. It's developed in this way to instantly incapacitate prey, such as fish and shrimp, before they can damage the delicate tentacles. But it's easily potent enough to be problematic to any person that comes into contact with it. The toxin targets the heart, nervous system, and skin cells, and is so excruciatingly painful that quite often people have been known to go into shock and drown before making it to shore. Even those who do manage to survive the sting suffer from many weeks of agony and potential lifelong scarring. If things weren't bad enough, these jellies are unlike other species that simply float through the water, as they are able to actively move at speeds of 4 knots. This is thought to be linked to the fact that they have 24 eyes arranged into 4 sets of 6 on each side of their bell, which allow them to detect obstacles in their way and see any potential prey. Honorable mentions. Blue-ringed octopus. The tiny blue-ringed octopus is one of the most beautiful creatures in the ocean, but also one of the most dangerous. Found in the Pacific and Indian Oceans, they can grow up to 8 inches long and spend their lives preying on crab, shrimp, and other crustaceans. They're easily identifiable by their yellow skin and their blue and black rings, and will change color if they start to feel threatened. While they're naturally quite docile, if you handle one or provoke it, it will bite and release its venom, meaning things will turn nasty very quickly. That's because it's made up of tetrodotoxin, which is one of the most powerful neurotoxins, and if present in a high enough dose, can lead to nausea, breathing difficulties, heart failure, paralysis, and even in some cases, death. It's more than 1,200 times as powerful as cyanide, and can leave victims being fully aware of their surroundings while being unable to move or signal to anyone that they're having difficulties. At any time, each octopus carries enough venom to kill 26 people. Currently, there is no antivenom available for blue-ringed octopus bites, so victims have no choice but to ride through the effects and hope for the best. Luckily, when faced with danger, its first response is to try and flee, so it'll only attack if it's cornered. Geography cone snail. Found in the waters in the Indo-Pacific, you'd be forgiven for thinking the geography cone snail is harmless. But this is the most dangerous type of cone snail with venom that contains hundreds of different toxins. Their colorful brown and white shells mean they are prized by collectors, but several people have died while attempting to catch them. They grow up to 6 inches long, and they deliver their toxins to victims by a jagged tooth on the end of an extendable proboscis. They move through the water very slowly, so have to incapacitate their prey instantly, which is why the toxin has become so powerful. Despite the danger, geography cone snails are now a focus of medical research because some of the proteins within the toxin have the potential to be effective painkillers. Some tests have suggested that they could be more than 10,000 times as potent as morphine without any of the addictive side effects.
I hope you all enjoyed today's video, narrated by Zach this time. Be sure to subscribe for more and check out some of our recent uploads.